In a previous video, I told you that the rockets were launched in order to attach satellites to the dome. And yes, there surely was a time when rockets were used to launch equipment towards the dome, but there is actually a much easier way to do that. In this video I'll tell you all about that. I will also give you links to videos in support of my claims. The surface upon which we live is flat, stationary and enclosed with a dome. There are huge land masses which form a rim in the outskirts of this flat surface. Antarctica is not a continent on the bottom of the globe, but a collection of land masses forming the rim. At the most outer regions of the rim, the dome rises from the ground. My claim is that there are railing systems attached to the dome and are crisscrossing it entirely. I'm talking about actual railroads from which vehicles hang, similar to a roller coaster. And it's exactly on those vehicles that various cameras and other equipment are mounted on. There are people who are still not convinced that a dome exists. The video from this first link is a reference to an old encyclopedia in which it's officially documented that people have determined that in the Australian vicinity of the Antarctic rim there is a dome with an altitude of up to 4,000 kilometers. The man from this YouTube channel is obviously religiously indoctrinated, so please don't hold that against him. In fact, many flat earthers are unfortunately naive enough to believe the entire biblical content just because the firmament is mentioned in it. Now I want you to focus on my claim that there are railroads attached to the dome and are entirely crisscrossing it. The footage in the video from the second link was taken from an altitude of several thousand kilometers. It's being presented as a time-lapse photography of the Australian wildfires. It was taken during a time period of 4 days, between December 30th up to January 3rd, 2020. Supposedly the footage was taken from an orbiting satellite, but I will let you be the judge of that after you watch the footage. Ask yourselves if the camera which recorded the footage was on an orbiting satellite or it did that from a stationary position. Also, you can see the blacked out areas in the lower corners of the video, which were obviously photoshopped and have the purpose of making the ridiculous orbiting notion believable. The dome exists. There are railing systems attached to it. There are vehicles on those railing systems. The types of vehicles on those railing systems vary depending on the purpose they serve. Some are transporting equipment, others could even be carrying personnel. I even believe that there are manned stations at various locations along those railroads. The video from the third link is supposedly taken in the so-called space station. After the 1 minute and 8 second mark, there is an uninterrupted 49-minute long video footage of an astronaut in a state of weightlessness. An apparent state of weightlessness can be created in the so-called zero-G airplanes. The plane makes a parabolic maneuver during which the people on board are technically falling, and a state of apparent weightlessness is being created in the process, and for a duration of around 30 seconds at a time. A 49-minute long uninterrupted part of a video of a person in a state of weightlessness can be created only when, among other things, much higher altitudes are available. A comfortable enough altitude to create a 49-minute long state of weightlessness would be an altitude of more than a few hundred kilometers. The dome provides a stretch of surface area which is vertical enough and is over 1,000 kilometers long. So, I believe that the modules of the so-called space station used in this particular video are module wagons mounted on a railing system, and the railing system itself is attached to the dome. The 49-minute long uninterrupted part of the video was recorded while the modules were sliding down the railing system, creating an apparent state of weightlessness in the process. I even believe that the sound in the background is the sound made by the downwards sliding motion of the module wagons. I have concluded that there is an entire network of railing systems throughout the surface of the dome. Actual railroads are crisscrossing the sky. There are various types of vehicles moving around on those railing systems. Satellites, module wagons, as well as personnel carriers are some of those vehicles. As I've told you in previous videos, many technologically advanced civilizations from the past were annihilated after they woke up to the sinister facts of reality. So, the question remains whether this network of railing systems was originally built by our Freemasonic world leaders, or it was inherited from one of those annihilated civilizations and only further expanded by the Freemasonic elite.